That's right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's so good to see everybody coming in. We'll give everybody a moment to get in here. Man, it's another Friday night. I was pumped up and excited for this. Like I said, it's so good to see all of you. It's good to be with these guys tonight. Dr. Kiltz, thank you so much for being here. And Kip, man, it's good to see you too, brother. Larry and Dave are otherwise engaged tonight. Dave had to go do some things with his daughter, and Larry went out of town and just didn't make it back in time. So we are going to have fun without them and miss them and wish them traveling mercies and safety and all the good things. And we are going to have fun and hold down the fort. So it's good to see you guys. I've been looking forward to this all day since I talked with you this morning, Doctor. So thanks for being here.
No, it's my pleasure. And once I got the invite, it was sort of like it was like an excitement for me, is like, wow, I've got something that I really want to do. Because as I said, normally I'm like in bed by 9, but I got my nap in. I got my burger with my eggs. I had a really great Snake River burger with eggs and cheese and butter. So good. And I got my little nap in, and here I am rocking and rolling, ready to go.
That's what I'm talking about. Is that a Cowboys hat, sir?
Excuse me. Is this okay? It was either
No,
my
it's
Syracuse University hat or my Cowboys hat, and I was always a Tom Landry fan, and the Dallas Cowboys I love immensely. So it was either Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings or the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. I'm an Emmitt Smith fan. Emmitt Smith and who was it? Was it Dion and Michael? Was it Michael? I can't remember his name now. My mind went blank. Michael.
I go way back anyway, because I can't tell you that I've watched much of any football in the last 10 years. But I used to be a crazy man. Now I'm almost 70. So, it's sort of like although 18 to 30 seems like yesterday now. And that's the trouble of life. When you were a kid seems like yesterday, and now you're officially good old man. I don't know. I feel younger and younger on Carnivore, so I don't count the numbers anyway. But yeah, I always loved the Cowboys, and they were great. Are great.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love a hat with a star.
Oh yeah, star of the show.
Yep, love the star hat.
That's awesome. I got me a new one. Sean Whalen at Lions Not Sheep. I was like, man, I love it. I gotta have it. It's simple, but so true.
All right, I'm gonna get one of those. I need one. Where'd you get it?
It's actually called Lions Not Sheep. Sean Whalen is the guy's name. That had started the company Lions Not Sheep, and I was like, I don't know all the stuff that he supports, but I was like, from what I've heard of him, like, man, he's on point, man. So he's got some good stuff. We are the Lions.
Well, it is really great what you guys are doing, and Sean and Kip, you guys are amazing, and this idea of lions, and we've all been sort of raised like sheep. And we've lined up like sheep, and we've just been eating like sheep, and we can't quite figure out why we're all feeling like sheep. And the simple idea that we've just been eating the wrong food. I went to a market today. I don't go to markets. I don't go to supermarkets at all. But I had to go buy a few things that were on a little checklist, and I went to a local big box market. And I was just amazed at the amount of processed foods. There just had so many aisles of processed foods. I mean, I rarely go to the market. We get most of my meat is delivered. I occasionally will go to one market, get eggs and butter and cream and cheese. But I don't even know what it's in the rest of the markets. I go to small little markets, local markets, and it was just so huge. And in the amount of toxic food, I was just feeling toxic by walking around the supermarket.
It's funny how those things change, right? Like how that stuff affects you.
It is pretty amazing. And psychologically, I was feeling for all the people there, and I was watching people, pushing around their carts, and I was observing what they had in their carts. And I was just observing and thinking, wow, those are all the things that I used to eat when I was growing up, and we'd fill our cart with bread and pasta and noodles, cookies and cake and all these things, and even some of them were labeled as healthy, and to get away from it, and how the change that I've been going through is quite remarkable. I have no sort of affinity to those things anymore. I mean, again, I feel sick by just walking down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Kiltz, I
Oh,
kind of had a question for you since you had mentioned your grocery buggy or whatever having like cheese and other dairy items in them. Do you see a lot of people that whenever they have like cheese and dairy, that you see it affecting some people differently? Because for me, it seems like when I have cheese, of course, I have a lot of weight to lose still, but whenever I have things like cheese and I love the taste, it almost seems like it causes me to stall out on my weight loss. Do you see that a lot?
Yes, because in the cheeses, in the butters, in the creams, the milk products, there's more sugar calories there. And so I do so a little bit of cheddar cheese, a little bit of blue cheese, a little bit of gorgonzola. I do my cream and ice cream from time to time, but I would tell you that it's definitely stalls us, especially when you want to like use and lose the weight. But I still don't believe. I believe that the fat is not the cause of disease. It's not our problem. Size doesn't matter as much as people think it does. But I definitely, for many people, that the cream, the butter can be a hard one for people to stay away from, and it does cause more inflammation. And then I think when you get more inflamed, you're feeling a little down and out, and I think we tend to eat a little bit more. So you got to get back on track and stick more to the lion's diet, which is more of the strictly meat, salt, and water. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stall out. But I picked up this book. I have this book, Nature Wants Nature Wants Us to Be Fat by Richard Johnson. And I think that this thing about fat is adipose tissue. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not the cause of our disease. And I was listening to Paul Mason from Australia. He's another good guy. I have not interviewed him before, but he's really wonderful. And he was talking about vegan diets and vegetarian diets and how wrong they are. But he had a little clip with Vladimir Stephenson, who was like the early 1900s, late 18s, early 1900s. He was like an anthropologist that went up to the Arctic and lived with the Inuits, and he said he ate seal and polar bear blubber, and he got healthy. And
Oh,
and
wow.
so I think that the adipose tissue is good for us, and eating it is good for us. And but yeah, cheese was a little long-winded, wasn't it? The cheese, for many of us, it stalls us out. Basically,
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe I should stay away from it until I reach my goals, and then maybe try to play with it a little bit and see how things go.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I do pretty well on it. I stay away from milk and half. But I know that if I could just stick with the steak, I do better anyway. I feel a little bit of some joint soreness when I eat too much of it, so I really try to minimize it. That's the best thing for me.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
even though I'm about 155 pounds, 150 plus or minus, many of us will look at ourselves and we say, "Well, gee, I got a little extra fat here, and I feel like I gotta use it." But I think it's actually beneficial for us to have some of that fat on us, because it's survival. It's critical.
oh, I agree with that. Well, and the smaller that I get, which I guess it's funny that you mentioned that because I weighed it for the first time this week. I weighed in probably 2 months, and I weighed 161 pounds. So I've lost a grand total of 296 pounds in 579 days. And it's amazing because I ate my way here. You know, it's not like, it's amazing.
Well, I always talk about your story about that, you know, you're eating the fatty meat and which suppresses appetite. And maybe that's where Kip's story, a little bit, the cheese and those sort of things may kind of stall us. But you know, it's we have a goal, and when you hold the goal, you eventually get there. But sometimes, you know, that next level is really hard because ultimately, as Richard Johnson's book is, nature wants us to be fat. To be skinny is like, it just doesn't make any sense. So, I think there's too much judgment against obesity in our cultures anyway. And I see so many, and I imagine, Kip, you're feeling tons better just by the carnivore world.
Oh, absolutely. I still would like to lose weight, but I feel like a new man compared to a year or compared to January whenever I started.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I've been doing this for, you know, since I was 55, and I'll be 68 next year, and I can tell you that it's always feeling better. But from time to time, you're gonna, you know, I even for me, oh my God, I had some French fries the other day, or I had a little ice cream, Kiltz's ice cream, and you know, or I always think a little bit of treat is okay. I think, you know, this idea that, you know, we can never touch that is not true. I think, you know, ketovores do good. People that are keto and fasting do great. But, you know, it's the getting more to the ideal that you want to be on, which, you know, kind of makes you feel better.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Everybody take this opportunity to like the stream, whatever channel you're watching it on. If you'll hit that like button and push it out, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that anytime we go live, whether it be Dr. Kiltz, Kip, or myself, you'll be notified, and we appreciate it. It helps push it out and get questions in here. Running tap 12. I work with a lady with a dietitian background. She's convinced celery juice helps extract metal poisons from the body. Thoughts?
Dr. Kiltz can go for that.
That's a good thought, but it's probably not a true thought. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, we you know, if you think about all the sort of concepts and ideas we think about, and we know in general, nutrition, supplements, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, carnivore, there's so many stories out there, and these stories of detox, and by using celery juice or celery. I mean, basically, celery is all breaks down to sugar, and there are chemicals in it. And if you think about the nitrates and the nitrites, remember, celery is used as a preservative, and there are a lot of nitrates in the celery. So I would think that it doesn't make any sense to me. Your body is going to get rid of those toxins naturally when you really go on the most amazing elimination diet, which is basically fatty meat, salt, and water. But I don't think that that makes any sense to me.
It's amazing what we can tell ourselves, right? Like, so many things I've done that over the years, bought into, like, if I can just take this certain supplement, or if I can do this or take this pill or get this injection, then I can finally get to that healthy spot. And in reality, in my brain at the time, I know that what I was thinking was, if I can just get skinny, then everything will be okay. When in fact it was the relationship that I had with food that was the problem, and I was just putting band-aids. Anything that I did up until the point where I started understanding the issue and what the main heart of the problem was, everything else was just a band-aid on a flesh wound. You know, nothing. You know, you can lose weight all kinds of ways, but it's not going to fix the underlying issue. That's what I had to get honest with myself about. And I can have those treats like you talk about every once in a while if I so desire. It's not like it's going to stall me out or keep me from getting any further in the journey. But I try to have either way I go, I have such a better understanding of what I'm doing and the choices that I'm making, and I'm not making them blindly. And I think that makes a huge difference.
We're looking we've been sort of handed a story of quick fixes and snake oil and detoxes and things like that. And of all the things that I've ever done in my life, carnivore is like the game changer. And I didn't, we didn't, no one talks about it in medical school, residency, or any training. And that is the biggest challenge. But, there's some books on Sally Norton, Toxic Superfoods, and there's a book on basically there's a journal called the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Journal on Plant Poisoning, and the journal is made for the livestock industry. So those animals get sick on plants, and when they get sick on a plant diet, and again wild plants or many things that we think are okay, they lose money. And when we eat the plants, we get sick, but someone makes money. And I think we're just blind to the story. We just can't believe that these labeled healthy vegetables, and again the word healthy, when we label something healthy and good for you, our brain just thinks, oh yeah, this is so good for us, and we just can't imagine the opposite is true. But if you look at the plant poisoning and toxic superfoods, and look at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's journal on plant poisoning, it's rampant. I mean, have you ever heard of someone having a poisoning from eating a ribeye steak?
I haven't.
Nope.
I mean,
Never.
It's amazing.
Never. But I do think that the problem with there are many chemicals in plants, because plants are live organisms that are working to affect and control their environment. They're trying to attract things, they're trying to repel things, and they're built for survival, and we're just a pest to them. And we're just a big pest. And the plants, just like celery, they want to make you want to eat them, but because they want to maybe either kill you, control you, or use you for its reproductive potential.
Well, and all it takes is just a little while. And I want to urge anybody out there who's been looking at this way of eating, or maybe you're at a place where you just about given up hope, and you're overweight, you're unhealthy, you have a lot of issues, you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. Give a good 60-90 days to carnivore. Stay as strict as you possibly can with it, and see how it turns out for you, because it may make the absolute biggest change in your life that you've been looking for. I know for me, I spent many couple of decades looking for this answer, and it was right here in front of me, and presented with it, and going forward with it. It has made such a dramatic change in my life, and it's rubbed off into every other area of my life. And that's one of the big passions for why I even do this, because I know for a fact there's somebody out there who's watching this, who's given up hope, who's living in depression, who's sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you don't have to live that way, my friend.
Kip, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Tell us a little bit about how you got on carnivore, and how has it made you feel compared to how you felt before?
I got on carnivore initially because, well, I had tried keto before and I had success with keto, but I kept slipping up to all the different like things that they sell in the stores that say keto on them and have a keto label, and I would just want to eat way too much of it. And then like pecans and stuff, I'd want to eat tons and tons of that stuff. And so eventually I just quit trying keto. And then, you know, January of this year, man, I had reached right at 500 pounds. At my highest weight, I was 498 pounds. And I was desperate for something. And this was like the Hail Mary pass. It was like, this was the most bizarre sounding thing whenever I heard different people talk about it on YouTube. And so I finally decided, you know what? It's worth a shot, even if I can only do it for a few weeks just to see, because I knew that if I didn't do this, the next step was going to be having to have weight loss surgery or something like that, because I couldn't hardly take care of, I had a newborn daughter, and I couldn't even hardly get out of the couch with her. I couldn't hardly go on walks or couldn't hardly do anything. So I was like, I was desperate, Dr. Kiltz. And so I finally decided to try it. And from then to now, even when I go back and watch my first video to now, it's like a different person. And I haven't reached all my weight loss goals, but at the same time, there's a person that I didn't even know that was inside of me that's coming out. Like you talk about the line, I feel like the line is rising up in me that I never even knew was there until now.
So by strictly eating like a lion, you feel fantastic. You've recognized that human being that's always been there, and despite the fact that you haven't sort of reached this goal, your goals have kind of gone out in front of you and showed you how wonderful it can feel by just carnivore without all the weight loss. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's like having a glimpse of life. It's like a life that I didn't know that was possible. I can see it, and like just getting out and walking and stuff like that, where I could never do that stuff before because of the, you know, being so overweight and so out of breath and things like, and my back would constantly hurt. When I first started my channel, I couldn't even hardly go on a walk because my back would hurt so bad. And now if I want to, I'll go for a run. And I know that freaks a lot of people out, but the changes that have been happened to my body just by eating this way has been unreal.
So I think that's really the best story, because I tell people no matter what size you are, whatever you're going through, by carnivore in 2 to 4 weeks, you'll feel like a different person.
100% agree. I think that's that most transform, and that's where I came up with the motivation follows action, because you can sit around and wait for good things to fall in your lap, or you can sit around and wait for the answers to just knock on your door, or you can start putting those actions in, and then the motivation will catch up, because like you said, 4 to 6 weeks away, and you're going to feel so good that, yeah, you may not be where you want to be, but thank God you're not where you were. And you're going to tell such a drastic difference that it's going to motivate you, because you're going to be like, man, I felt good before in my life, but I've never felt like this. And I'm just curious to see what another, 4 to 6 weeks is going to do. And that ball keeps rolling until here I'm 579 days down the road. And like, whether I lose another pound or not is completely obsolete to me. Like, I think it's great. If I lose, if I gain, it's not even my concern. I just want to keep feeling how good I feel now, and I want other people to get it too.
And the beauty here is so for so many people, it's sort of like, okay, I got my weight loss, I met my goal, and so now I go back. But this is one of those things where there's no going back. There's only continued moving forward, and you're always getting something even more that feels so fantastic, and you just want to share this with the world. And I've never seen such a group of people where in the carnivore world, they just want to keep on sharing with more and more people people keep showing up and sharing the story.
And
I'll
beautiful.
I'll add to that, Dr. Kiltz, like what you were saying. So whenever I started carnivore, for my first month or two in, like, I was still trying to figure things out and everything. And I've always been like a camera shy person, and like, not just camera shy, like in front of anybody, like I didn't want to be the center of attention, but the results were so amazing that something inside of me that I can't explain started rising up and actually made me hit record, because I was like, people need to know about this, because dude, it's changed. I knew a month or two in, I knew that this right here was going to change my life forever. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what's been happening ever since.
And
Bro,
this is, go ahead.
go ahead. So,
Well, I was
oh, I
just
was
going
just
to
gonna
say,
say you can cling to the mess or you can cling to the miracle.
and sometimes miracles show up as messes first.
Yes,
That is it. That is it.
absolutely.
There was an
Let's see.
endometriosis question in here.
Let's see here. What do
And
we got?
and we got let's see.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah. I see that.
there's
Let me hit this.
endometriosis, a question in there, and but go ahead if you got a question up there right now. Once you get that, and then I'll find the.
Thank you guys for the. I think I found it. I'll hit it right after I get these. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate the super chat. As far as the loose skin that I have, I mean, you can see I do have some. I mean, you can see on like I do have some loose skin. The majority of it is like basically the pooch where my stomach is. I mean, it's not horrible. I can stand up. I've got a pooch right here, a loose skin, but 270 pounds. I mean, 296 pounds at this point. Like I promise you, I'm much happier with the loose skin than I was dragging all that extra weight and all those health problems around. It doesn't even compare. So I do have some, but it's not as bad as what even I thought would, it could be from the size that I was. So it's got to have goals, right? So that's my next goal, to keep working on it, and if it goes away, cool. If not, I've been blessed either way.
And I've seen so many people where it just eventually goes, it comes back down. And I think, the carnivore allows the elasticity of the skin to come back, reduces the inflammation. And for so many people, it just, it goes away.
Absolutely. Gita, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. Hope all's well in Washington with you, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's see here. I'll jump back up here and grab this one. Dr. Kiltz, my 26 had endometriosis. Any book recommendations? She's a picky eater, and I like to get her a resource if possible. She is looking to get pregnant now. She is looking to get pregnant now, but someday.
Well, a
Here.
keto for fertility cookbook by Emmerich and Kiltz. And you have to go to drkiltz.com because it's not on Amazon, but it's got a ton of great recipes that fall into the keto carnivore world. And if you go also, the other two books are our family building guide and our Kiltz's Keto Carnivore. And this talks a lot about endometriosis and fertility issues. And although I don't treat endometriosis separately from fertility, it all runs into the same thing. And going carnivore, endometriosis goes away, in my opinion. Endometriosis, like PCOS or like fibroids and infertility, it's all related to a plant-based low animal fat diet. And our resources on drkiltz.com or Kiltz Mighty Tribe has some really great stuff. But we're working to share people's stories on carnivore for PCOS, endo, adeno, fibroids, and all these things. So if you go to drkiltz.com, there's a lot of stuff, and look at the cookbook that Emmerich and Kiltz put together, which I think is really good. And I'm really simple when it comes to my diet. I just eat beef and butter and eggs, and I don't cook very fancy anymore.
Saves a lot of time.
It's
though,
hard
right?
to beat steak anyway.
Oh my God. And burgers, just burgers, really burgers. And if you cook them in a pan, save the fat, pour the fat back over the burger, eat the fat and the burger. It's very critical to eat the fat because when you cook it, it melts it. And if you're on a grill, you're going to lose all the fat, and you don't want to lose the fat. You want to eat it. That's the really important part, to suppress the microbes in the gut. The microbes in the gut are fermenting, which contributes to foggy brain, mood swings. You're making alcohol in your gut basically, and it damages your reproductive organs. It damages and causes, I think, endometriosis.
That's one thing too, that like that's the only medication that I still take that I haven't come off of, and I'm hoping that my testosterone will get to a regular level or whatever. I mean, it's something that I really haven't looked at, but I still take the 100 what is it, 100 milligram injections um of testosterone, just because it was my testosterone was 122 whenever I started taking them. And
Well,
so
if you get off of it, the supplemental testosterone and the plant testosterones are suppressing your own testosterone production. And my level of testosterone is in the low range, yet I feel great.
hmm,
And so I looked at it, and my suspicion is, once again, just like cholesterol, many of our hormone levels, especially in men, are labeled in a way to get us on supplements that we may not need. And by carnivore, you'll feel better. Your testicles will work better because you're not suppressing your natural testosterone production with the plants. And plus, the plants, the lectins, oxalates, phytates, are damaging the testicular tissue and
hmm,
causing dysfunctional production of your testosterone, and it's going to affect your pituitary gland. Many
hmm,
people have thyroid problems and they have prolactin problems. And I think when you damage your pituitary, your hypothalamus, you're damaging your LH and FSH production, which is reducing your testosterone production, along with the damaging your testicles directly. So
hmm.
the phytoestrogen, androgens, and progestins basically suppress your own production. So
It's
I
time to
think
start
you
moving
could
away
wean.
from that.
I think so, and see how you feel. I mean, I'm in my late 60s, and I tested a few years ago, and my suspicion is because we're all feeling low energy, and then we get a testosterone level or a thyroid level, and we're thinking, oh, that's why,
Mhm,
rather than the sugars and the plant chemicals and the antigens and the fermentation are really the cause, which are potentially creating the lower levels, or the lower level isn't your problem because there's still a range that you're fine, but the laboratory testing is sort of convincing us that something's wrong with us and we need a supplement. I mean, I tried the testosterone supplements for a little bit and I felt the same. I mean, when I went carnivore and then I early on and I had the levels and it's like, oh, I got to get on this, but I didn't feel any better. So I stopped it. And so my suspicion is, like women in menopause, many who just stick to carnivore, and like Elizabeth Bright says, eat the butter and you'll feel
mhm.
better, and you won't need the hormone supplementation.
That's definitely something I gotta work at. I gotta start moving in that direction and easing off that testosterone, because once I get rid of that, like, I'm in no need to have anything anymore, as far as medication, supplements, or anything else, other than occasionally some electrolytes. If I, have a cramp or something like that, I normally
Yeah.
take those. But I mean, shoot, it'd be an answer to prayer for sure. Hey, Daryl, good to see you, brother. Can you speak about folate? How I think I said that right, right? Folate, how it affects us, what is a good lab range, and what foods are good to increase folate?
Eat the meat. And basically, when you eat plants, they are low in all minerals, vitamins, and they're low in essential fatty acids and amino acids. And so basically, folate, just like all the other minerals and vitamins, are abundant in the fatty meat you eat in the liver. And so I think, once again, between vitamin C and folic acid and folate, I mean, basically low levels were associated with neural tube defects and miscarriages. And so, but my bet is, once again, the problem is a plant-based low animal fat diet is the real cause, not the folate levels per se, because I never saw them correlate the folate levels as much. But my bet is, you just eat the fatty meat and you'll be fine. Although if you're a vegan, the problem is you need supplementation with modern supplements, which aren't historically how we got our minerals and vitamins.
Got them out of them puddles.
Yep. And Georgia Ede is a good person to look at. Paul Mason did a little shared a lot of her stuff, and basically when you eat the plants, they lower your absorption of the minerals and vitamins.
So not only are they releasing toxins into us, but they're also suppressing the if we happen to get good stuff from the meat that we're eating, they're suppressing the nutrient value that we would get from that, and while it's releasing those toxins into us as well.
Right.
It's multifaceted, right?
Yeah, and the problem is we have so much science that has sort of given us a story of vitamin C deficiency is causing rickets, and I'm sorry, it's scurvy, and vitamin D is deficiency is rickets. So if you just add a supplement, you'll be fine, but that's not true, and that's part of the challenge. If you eat the meat and eliminate the plants or significantly bring them back, you'll be fine.
So that makes me want to ask you, Dr. Kiltz, because my doctor says that I'm low in vitamin D, and I've been taking vitamin D3 with K2, and I've been also, of course, eating the meat. Would you say that it might be best to just eat the meat, or would you do both together and see if that helps?
My bet is, once again, if I'm going to draw a blood level, yet you don't have scurvy or rickets, or you don't have any other signs of vitamin deficiency, then our numbers are not accurate. It's we're selling a drug and you don't have a disease. The levels are not very accurate. My vitamin D was low and my testosterone was low. My thyroid was fine. And I'm thinking, okay, all they want to do is, and then your brain goes like, oh, it's low. I have to do something. But in fact, it's low based on the measurement of a plant-based dieter. But what are we comparing it? Which diseases? I mean, the diseases I've seen go away simply because you ate meat and eliminated the plants. I didn't take any supplements. And I sell supplements. I sell molecular fertility, which is a plant-based prenatal vitamins, and then I sell organ meats and liver supplements for the carnivore side. And yet I recommend just eat the meat and eat the liver, which is still questionable whether it's required, but eat fatty meat and you'll be fine.
It's funny to me, Dr. Kiltz, because the doctor told you basically the same thing that they told me. They told me that my vitamin D was low. They didn't say it was really low. They just said it was a little low. And then they also said my testosterone was a little low. I didn't start taking anything for testosterone, but I did start taking something for vitamin D. I might just try eating the meat and not taking anything and then go back in 6 months and see what happens then.
I did the exact opposite of you. I took the testosterone and didn't take the vitamin D because they told me my D was low too.
But I think that taking the testosterone is a very common for all of us men when we see the numbers and we want to maintain our health and wellness, and so I don't think you're off in this. I think you're right. Maybe give it a shot, see how you feel without it, and don't measure the numbers, because if you measure the number, it's like standing on a scale, right? You feel great, and but we're trying to measure ourselves based on some false creative levels, right? If you're this BMI, you're unhealthy. Well, there's no science in that, actually. If you're drunk, you drank alcohol. Well, if you're overweight, you ate food to get there. And the beauty is you go carnivore in so short time, all the diseases go away and you still have a high BMI. So the fat causes no disease. So in my opinion, fat causes no disease. Zero.
Right. I mean, in 4 months,
agree.
4 months, I started April the 17th, 2022. 4 months later, I had blood work done. I had already reversed type 2 diabetes past pre-diabetic. I went from 7 to 5.3 in 4 months, and then it dropped to 5.2 over the next about a year in, and so it's still coming down. But it had already reversed. Not I've been pre-diabetic for 25 years or better, and in 4 months I didn't lose. I lost right at 100 pounds, so I went from about 457 pounds to 357 pounds, pretty close. But which technically is still overweight, but I had reverse type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease gone, sleep apnea gone. I had energy. All these things had, as far as my health, the underlying issues, the only thing that hadn't been completely resolved, for me at the time was I had not lost all the weight that I wanted to lose. But as far as the health issues, they were gone and I was still overweight. So, I mean,
And
that
if
proves your point, I feel like.
and if there's a famine, or you need to migrate, or you need to hibernate, or you need to gestate, you better have fat on your body. The fat
I'll be good.
stores, think of fat stores as a organ system. And the adipose tissue contains every mineral, every vitamin, every amino acid, every simple sugar, and every fatty acid that your body requires to survive for months, if not years, in some cases. And so, polar bears, many bears will hibernate and they will gestate. They lose only adipose tissue, they lose no muscle mass, and they lose no bone mass. So I think we need to rethink adipose tissue. People talk about adipose tissue being inflammatory. It is not. It's only inflamed because of the food you're eating and the high sugar level. I was listening to Ken Berry. He's got a really great talk on pancreatic cancer. Although I still question the science that blames insulin for disease. Insulin is only elevated because you eat plants and sugars, which come from plants. And so insulin does not go up unless you're eating a plant-based lean meat diet. And so if you stop eating those things, your insulin level will go down because it's only trying to convert your amino acids and sugars to fat in the liver. That's all it's trying to do. It's not there to put sugar into your cell. It's not trying to do anything special, in my opinion. The significant thing insulin does is make fat in the liver. And again, a little bit of fat is really critical in our bodies. And if you have no fat on your body, it is sickness quickly.
So what I'm
Absolutely.
hearing from you, Dr. Kiltz, is that as long as I keep moving in the right direction, and as long as I keep eating the meat and being able to move better, and I can tell just looking in the mirror that things are headed in the right direction, that I don't need to be just focused on whatever that number is on the scale, because people in society are like, man, you're still big, or you're still this or whatever, but like I'm feel healthier. That I can't explain how healthy I feel compared to a year ago just by changing the food that I consume on a daily basis.
I agree 100%, but it's a hard one to believe. But I would say that is true. Our bodies are built to become fat because imagine 10,000, 100,000 years ago. If you found the sweet fruit in a very short amount of time and you ate it, you'd gain some weight, fat, in order to survive the hunt. And in a time of little to no food, you'd probably hunker down and you spend a lot of time resting and nesting.
So let's see, D's. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, friend. Would you be against supplementing taurine and glycine to boost a beef diet? That's definitely a question because I don't. Again, with the supplements.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I don't know why it's necessary. I mean, eat fatty meat, whether it's grass fed or finished or grain finished. I think just eat the meat, eat the fat, because that's where you get the essential fatty acids, and you'll get the fat soluble vitamins, and that should be all you need. You got to give it. You got to give it a 3 month challenge to see how you feel. I've never found anyone that is deficient in taurine and glycine.
Hmm. There you go. Thank you for the super chat, friend. There's another one. You know about you talking about the supplement, the beef kidney and acceptable organ meat. Yeah, I mean,
I think eating the organs is good. How much and how often? No one knows that answer. I think that eating the fatty meat, the bone marrow, the bone broth. I like the liver. I like the bone marrow myself, but I don't like make sure I eat it every week. I might go maybe a month or two without eating the liver, but I really do love it. I think historically for thousands and thousands of years we probably went for the liver and the organ meats first because they were easiest to get. The muscle meat is a little bit more challenging to cut up and preserve. So I would say that you got the kill. Maybe those things didn't last long, and those that did the kill probably got the majority of that to eat to stay strong and continue to hunt.
I'll let you in on a secret. Like, I'll be honest with you. I have never eaten liver in my life, not even once, ever. I
Not
mean, I know
even
they're
hidden in a burger.
unless it was hidden in a burger and I didn't know it. Like, honestly, I have. I take that back. I had those nose to tail carnivore crisp things, and they were bison liver or something like that. So I did have those, and it was pretty good. But as far as sitting down to have liver or something, I haven't had chicken liver. I haven't had beef liver. So I mean, do I suggest you have it if you like it? More than power to you, but I haven't. Maybe I need to try it. Maybe that's the missing link.
Yeah, I enjoy the flavor, but I don't do it often. And I
Mhm.
don't know the answer whether it's necessary, required, it matters. And I think Sean Baker says not required. I think
Mhm.
Chafee may say the same thing. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
See, I
Oh,
grew up in
Christine.
the South. I grew up in the South, and whenever we used to eat liver, pretty much everything we ate, we fried it. And when I say fried, I'm talking battered and all that. So it was definitely the wrong way to eat it. But I used to eat it like that. But since I've started carnivore, I really don't eat liver. I just eat like ribeyes and brisket and stuff like that a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, amiodarone is an antidysrhythmic, right? Isn't that what people take for if they have say they
Cardiac dysfunction.
yes, cardiac, yeah. That's what we used to give amiodarone. If I'm not mistaken, it was 150 and 350 dead dose, live dose for all the cardiac arrest that we would run whenever they had a unstable heart rhythm.
Which
Um,
is all secondary to glycation and damage to the glycobiome, which is damage to our electro circuitry. And
mhm.
it's just all glycation inflammation secondary to mostly plant sugars,
and
pre-diabetes,
carnivore.
diabetes.
In carnivore, certainly your body. Dr. Alvadia, whenever he was on, was talking about your heart and your brain running so much better and more efficiently off of ketones than now and he knows more than I do about as far as that goes. But like, I mean, hope maybe it will straighten out. I've heard a couple of different testimonies, people with atrial fibrillation or something like that, and it resolve itself after a little while on the carnivore diet. Will it work for everybody? I don't know, but I mean, what are you losing by trying? If it's going to be helped, I'm sure that eating meat's the best way to go about that for sure.
I haven't
It,
regretted it for a second. Like, I have not regretted starting this journey at all. Like Sean was talking about the diabetes and all that stuff, that went away in like 5 months. I got my lab work done, and just that alone. and just the way that I feel, and like my shoulder pain. You probably hear people talk about this, Dr. Kiltz, having inflammation and pain. My shoulder used to hurt terribly for like 3 or 4 years, and it would want to, I'd move it different ways and it would pop and all this other stuff. And just from doing this, about 2 to 3 weeks in, that pain started going away. And now the only time it ever comes back is when I go off plan and have a meal that I know I shouldn't.
Same thing here. From time to time, I'll have something that it minimally causes some issues, and I too have to keep an eye on it. Plus, I think for many of us, we've had long-standing exposure and damage that doesn't always go away completely. There's some things that may not go away. Some of those neurologic dysfunction of the heart, although there is healing of the nervous system, and you can build the nervous system and repair it by going carnivore, I believe. And fasting, I think, is one of the very, very best things we can do. A 2 to 3 day fast, and even up to a 5-day fast. You have to empty the gut to really get to the true fasting of our lives.
That's good stuff. Let's see. Jennifer Lucas asks, thank you for the comment. If I eat about 120 grams of protein each day, how can my blood work show a low total protein?
Well, again, the measurement is highly inaccurate anyway, and you're exactly what it's measuring. I question all the time. I mean, you're measuring some proteins, some albumin, some amino acids, some fatty acids, some sugars, and these, how you feeling? That's the real question here. You know, every time you get a number and someone says, well, my LDL or triglycerides was way off, or you know, it's just, they're just not accurate. How you feeling? Why'd you go to the doctor? Because you needed an insurance exam or a work exam. You know, I'm a pilot, so I have to every 2 years go get an exam. The last time, and so you know, they didn't require blood work at the time, but I've had some in the past, but you know, it's often it's off, and it's okay, I'm fine.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think I just about hit it. Like, so one thing, obviously, I wouldn't be able to go through the entire thing. How much has your faith changed since going carnivore? Like, not just does it help our health and it helps our direction, but like, have you noticed that you're with the mental clarity and all? Do you feel like that has helped your learning, your relationships outside, your faith, your even social relationships? We talked a little bit about that earlier. I know for me, it's been an amazing change, and to be able to see those areas of my life grow as well. So it's, you know, it's more than just what you eat, because of the effects that it rubs off on everything else. Have y'all noticed the same thing as well?
Yes.
You want to answer that?
Yes. So the mental clarity is amazing, and I found the concept of God to be the most important thing for us humans, and to look in the mirror and believe and know that God is deep within all of us. And the carnivore lifestyle has helped me see it even more clearly, how important that is. And I think that's why I enjoy connecting with everyone out there, because they're teaching me something every single day. And whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, pescatarian, or carnivorian, I think we're all on the same journey. And I have friends, colleagues of all of those persuasions, and atheist, agnostics, and spiritualists. But I think the idea that we can see God more clearly on this, for me, it's really been a game changer.
Oh,
And
100%.
for me, for
Go ahead,
me, I
Kip.
would say, I don't mean to cut you off, Sean, but I would say too that I feel like personally, I used to make God have to work overtime to bless all the different food that I was eating. Like, I mean, I'd be sitting there eating a Big Mac and eating Doritos and asking God to bless it, and it's kind of hard to bless, ice cream and stuff like that, because it's like you're putting poison in your body and asking God to bless it. I know I'm joking a little bit, but I just feel like, my relationship with God, yes, has gotten better, but it's also made me a better husband because I can do more for my family now. I can, pick up my daughter without issues and go to the park with her and go take her on walks and just be a dad. And it makes me a better man. It gives me, as a man, it gives me more courage, I feel like, to get on here and talk with y'all, and more confidence. And there's just so many things that have gotten better, not just my relationship with God. And I really think there is power in the food that we're eating more than what a lot of people think, because I mean, it is, I don't know any other way to say it, that it's changed my life.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing is, man, that was a sticking point for me. It's something that consumed my thoughts because, I've been a man of faith. I've studied scripture and for 25 years or better. Now have I always lived by it? No, and I should, and I'm growing to do better, as we all are. However, like for me, when I read the scriptures and I see, this exhortation to us as believers to set the example and show the world, and then I would turn and look at my life, and I'm saying I was depressed, I was unhealthy, I couldn't walk, I couldn't communicate, I couldn't see past my own hiccups, hangups, and it was captivating me. And so here I am thinking, well, how in the world could I witness to someone else about what I have and the hope that I have in my faith and all these things whenever I'm representing it in this way? Now, I'm not saying you can't do that. What I'm saying is that I feel like for us to be the example to show that to other people, to share this way of life with other people, we have to be honest with ourselves about the condition of our own lives. And that's one thing that I really take to heart. My faith is so intertwined in every little aspect and facet of what motivates me to keep going. And I think that we should represent that well. And I think that whenever you do that, it is appealing to other people, and they're going to naturally see what's going on with you, and they're going to want to know more. And that's your perfect opportunity. You know, it's one of the driving factors for me. I don't know. I feel like look at the scriptures and I see Jesus all through the scriptures. He was meeting people's physical needs before he was showing them their need for him spiritually for eternity to lift them up. Right. So like, I think that I call myself a believer, and that's something that I feel like I can help do. I can spread this carnivore message because it radically transforms your health. And there's so many people that need that. And then at the same time, share the faith with them, and we can all grow together. And I think that that's a blessing. And that's something that I've seen in my own life, and something that I truly want to be growing and doing better at.
And I think faith is the first thing we should all live with. And again, whether you're religious or not, whatever your religion choice is, but faith is the believing in the thing as if it is already, and God will give it to you. And again, this idea, God is, we are all the gods. God is within each and every one of us. And that's the power, I think, is so important. And the carnivore world has changed my life in so many ways. I have meeting so many amazing people every single day on this carnivore journey. And again, whether you're keto or carnivore, but just, talking about nutrition in a way that we've never talked about it in my medical community. And still, when I share my books and ideas, people kind of like, it's sort of in the medical world, it's like, what are you talking about? But more and more and more people were beginning to see, looking at this and thinking, wow, maybe there's something here. So I think the more we share it, the better it is. But I feel so grateful every day to be part of the community.
Absolutely. Me too. And I am thankful for people like you who go to bat. You're up at 5 o'clock or up at 3 o'clock, but on the air every morning at 5 o'clock, spreading the good word, encouraging people, lifting people up, not just in carnivore, man. Finding out about your history, helping people make, create families for many, many, many years. There's no telling how many untold thousands of people's lives you've impacted and helped them to find that completeness in them. And that can't really be understated, man. And so thank you for being you and doing what you do too, because it's a great influence. If we do things that are great, it'll be because we're following in the footsteps of people like you who have led the way. And I truly thank God for you.
Inspired by each other. That's what we're doing here. And again, I'm just going through all of these amazing people that are sharing the words and such kindness, and we're all sharing the experiences that we've grown together, and we're all basically the same, and our DNA is nearly identical. Our outer skin may look differently, our size, shape, and genders, and all these sort of things, but ultimately the spirit is within each and every one of us. And I think the more we can help each other, and I see that modern medicine is working on shedding the judgment and helping in a way that we've never seen before. Now with social media, we can really share something that opens up for everyone. And I think there are so many people that are alone in this world, and their aloneness could be of value because we're actually, none of us are alone. We're all spiritually working this together. And you kept me up a little longer tonight, and I'm just going through and seeing so many people that I know already, and so many new people that I don't know, and so grateful to be part of this. And Robin Heron that I just met recently, and we've done a couple of interviews already, and again, it's sharing such an amazing change. And I think back to Robert Atkins and the Atkins diet. I mean, he really was sharing something that was magical, but none of this is new. It's been around. But I think because of social media, it's taking a new energy, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's growing like wildfire. I'm always seeing new channels, and I can't keep up with it. I would love to watch everybody's, but there's so many good ones out there. But I am
Yeah.
extremely happy that there are those. I feel like I agree with you 100%. I feel like we can learn from each other. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. But what I want to urge everybody to do is lead with love. Lead with love. You can't go wrong when you believe in people and you lead with love and you give them the benefit of the doubt, and just keep showing the love to each other. They may not look like you, they may not act like you, they may not believe like you, but you can lead with love, and you're not going to go wrong, man.
And I know we kept you on here for a long time, Dr. Kiltz, past your bedtime and everything. But look, I just want to say that I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being on here with us. Whenever Sean told me that Dr. Kiltz was coming on here, look, I was fanboying a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh. Thank you for coming on here tonight.
No, it's my pleasure. And again, we're all superstars. And that's the part that we all are realizing together, superstars, each and every one of us. And I feel the same way right back at you, Kip. And so I watch you, I'll watch you guys, and then I get invited in, and it really is a pleasure. And this isn't just a guys chat. And I think there was a comment in there. This is for everyone. And whatever your gender is, and whatever your belief system is that, we're really sharing some thoughts and ideas that are simple. Occam's razor, the simple answer. And I think faith and kindness, love and generosity, and Thanksgiving. We were my partner T and I were kind of talking about Thanksgiving and giving. And that's the most important thing that we can do, is give to others and help others, because we're all working live a better life. And there's so many that are so much more challenged than I am in my life. I feel grateful to my life that I'm living, and whatever we can do to give to others and give back and help during this time. I mean, that's what the Thanksgiving was all sort of created about, is that how we can help others that are living harder lives. And we're in a time, it's always a time to give to others.
We
Absolutely.
there was a song I learned years ago. It says, "Red and yellow, black and white, they are all precious in His sight." And I think that's something that stuck with me. Something that we can really apply. This is for everybody. It doesn't matter where you're at, what's place on earth you are. If you're human, it's for you. And I love it, man. Kip, you got anything you wanna part with this afternoon, sir?
No, I just want to say thank everybody for being here in the chat and asking great questions. And thank you, Sean, for doing such a good job hosting. And to Dr. Tiltz, thank you for being here. I learned a lot and I'll probably go back and play this again, just because whenever you got to talking about the testosterone and the vitamin D and stuff, I actually learned a great deal from that. So thank you for being here with us tonight.
Well, I appreciate the invitation. I learn so much every single time I listen to your team, and again, love all the people that are being part of this. And the more we share it, and that's why the subscribe, like, share, comment, and just a simple comment of what you're, even if you think, hey, this doesn't make any sense, explain yourselves. That's the craziness. But it's so crazy. It's like you don't even have to explain anything, because I've never seen people that felt better in their lives than those carnivores.
Absolutely, I agree. And thank you guys. It was an honor and a pleasure, and it's an open invitation. Anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome. We always have a good time and cutting up and sharing the good word, man. Sharing stuff that's going to practically help real people make real changes in real lives, and you never know who it's going to affect. If you guys enjoyed the show, go to wherever you're watching it at. Let these guys know. Give them a like, give them a share, give them a subscribe, give them a word of encouragement. You don't know how many times I've opened up YouTube and got a word of encouragement from somebody that really helped my day. It means a lot more than you think. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. We appreciate you guys, and you guys stay strong and keep pushing forward. And if we didn't get to your question, put it in the comments and we'll try to hit it from there. Or we'll see you next Friday night. We'll be right here. Love you guys. Stay strong, and y'all keep pushing forward.